Here with Jaidan Quinn to preview the 2025 Concordia baseball season. As we record this, team's been back for a little over a week, getting ready for first games coming up in February. Wanted to touch on maybe your background a little bit. I know we talked before about the connection that Coach Dupick had with one of your coaches that led to you coming here. But as far as this whole experience at Concordia for you, what do you feel like about the environment maybe has allowed you to thrive the way that you have?
Really just like the family like values that we have here, especially on the baseball team. Like we're a huge close-knit team. And even like bringing in a bunch of new kids, like losing a lot from last year, bringing in a bunch of new people, like we've really gotten close. Like I was very surprised with how quickly people adjusted from high school to college. Like for me, my first year, like it was a tough like transition, but like I can see a lot of the newer people to our team have like already like taking in our values, like are living it out through their daily lives. So I think it's just really like that family aspect. Like Dupick, like you don't really even see him like as like a coach. Like he's not like one of those coaches that will get on you. He'll talk through with you like about a bunch of different things. Like outside of baseball, he'll talk about your daily lives, like how you can become better through your life. And even with baseball, like he'll even touch on that, like mental side. Like I know this off season we've really preached like the mental side of it, and like becoming very, very disciplined over than like being like overtaken by your the mental side of it.
Wanted to look back at last year a little bit. I think one of the big highlights was getting to host GPAC tournament championship game, and both you and Joey hit a home run in that win over Dillon. Where did that one moment maybe rank amongst some of the ones you've had at Concordia?
Oh, it's up there. It's up there for sure. Like it was one of my bigger moments. I know it was huge for Joey to hit it to tie it up, then us, or I think he hit it to take the lead even, or me to take the lead. But I can't remember. It was a while ago. I don't really try to live in the past too much. I'm trying to just really live into the future. But I don't even see that one living up to the Mount Marty one. I think the Mount Marty one was probably our biggest one because we wouldn't be in that spot without that one. So I think that was probably my biggest moment of that GPAC tournament.
Well, talking to Coach Dupick, certainly this team is going to be a little bit different from last year. The whole outfield, really good players are gone, replacing that. But how do you feel like this program just keeps on churning out really good seasons year after year when you do lose some guys like that?
Oh, it's just really our recruiting process. Like Dupick and Ben, I know they've spent a lot of time going into looking at all these different people around the world or around the United States. Obviously, we didn't get some of the people we wanted, but we got a lot of the people that we did want. And I feel like, yeah, we are going to be different, but we're going to be very similar to what we were last year. Maybe not on the home run side, but like defensively, I think we're going to be better than like speed-wise, like a bunch of different aspects of the game just brought in. So it's a lot of new faces, but it's going to end up being the same result, I think.
You personally have hit 27 home runs in back-to-back years. Is there a specific number that you think about that you want to get?
No, I'm trying to stay away from that. Joey was always in my ear last year. It's like, hey, you got this many home runs, and I'm just like, dude, stop telling me that. Like, I don't want to know. It's just really, I don't really try to focus on the stats too much. Like, it's not really something that is built into me. Like, I just always try to stay away from the numbers and just live in the present moment and just live for the team, what I can do to win.
And you've had Joey hitting behind you a lot in your career at Concordia. Is there, you think about ways maybe that you might get pitched differently or how that might work out this season?
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot different for me, at least as I think it is. I'm going to see a lot more off speeds. I'm going to see a lot of different things. Probably going to be pitched a little bit tougher this year than in previous years because I don't necessarily have somebody to back me up like Joey's numbers. but we do have Brad and we do have Matt, so I feel very comfortable. Like, nobody's going to want to pitch around me to face those guys, and I feel very confident saying that.
What does it take to have that type of season like you've had where you do pile up those kind of numbers? I mean, maybe you're able to capitalize any time a pitcher does make a mistake, I guess, but what's been a key for you?
Just staying consistent, like being as consistent as I can be through every at-bat, like just not really trying to think of what happened previous at-bats or even the day before, like if we have a doubleheader, like I just don't even want to think about that, and just kind of having that trust in myself, like, hey, like you're a good baseball player, like don't really focus too much on like the results, just see what your process can take you.
So I imagine you're not focused too much then on how many home runs you've got in your career, and how do you block that stuff out then?
Try to stay away from Twitter. No, I really just, anytime I see it, like, if I hear it, I kind of like, okay, like, stop talking about that. Or like, if I see it, like, on my phone, I just like kind of swipe through it. But sometimes you see it and you're like, okay, like, it is what it is. Like, how are you gonna like block that out from your mind? Like, not try to strive for a certain number, just strive for what's best for the team.
Maybe it'll be a little bit easier since Joey's not on the team anymore.
For sure.
He won't be telling you how many home runs you've got. You were named, I guess, the offensive MVP of your summer league. Was there something you've been trying to work on since last season ended?
Yeah. I mean, there's always room for improvement. Like, I obviously struggled sometimes. Like, I struggled in this season last year, and I just wanted to refine my skills and just be able to like become better than what I was last year. Like, that's probably honestly one of my biggest goals for each year, is to just be better in some aspect. Like, I know my first year I struggled defensively. The year after that I did a little bit better, but this past year I think was probably my best defensive year. And like, just thinking like of what aspect I can improve on and just improving on that. Like, I think this year was mostly like staying away from the off-speed pitches that are out of the zone. Like, don't chase. Like, be your own person. Like, if a walk comes, a walk comes. If a hit comes, a hit comes. So just kind of like becoming more like a refined like skills.
Sure. No, expectations certainly are high for this program. There've been 40-win seasons 4 years in a row. What do you? I mean, I'm not saying you have to put anything tangibly out there, but what do you feel like would make this a successful year if it were to happen?
I think really just sticking to our core values. Like, I'm not gonna really try to like say like, oh yeah, we're gonna have 40 wins this season, but just sticking to our core values, staying disciplined, be family-oriented, team first, like grit. Like, we have a bunch of values set up for this program, and we've talked about it for the last week in meetings with Dude Big, like preaching on it, and just kind of just living those out through our whole lives. Like, our preparation becoming very well, like sleeping well, eating well, like doing all the things outside of baseball, so our preparation for baseball is at best as possible.
You've kind of touched on it there and earlier about the chemistry of this team. I know Coach Stupic said he's already had fun coaching this team. Where do you think that has developed? And maybe that's part of the reason why you guys could play, I don't know, that crazy stretch towards the end of last year where you had to go to Jamestown on really short notice. But how has that chemistry developed?
It's just the players we have. Like, I'll give props to Ty. Ty is one of those people that can just talk to absolutely anybody. Like, you can be some stranger on the street and he can make a connection with you. Like, just the people we have. Like, we are a very close-knit team. We love each other. So it's just like, you can go to anybody and talk about anything. And like, if you're doing something, like if you're not focused on one aspect at that time, like if you're not putting your full effort in, like we'll tell you like, hey, you're not putting your full effort in. Or like, just having like that ability to like push each other, then like also like help each other. Like, I think that's a really like big aspect into our program.
Lastly, wanted to ask, I know you want to focus on this season first, but what kind of aspirations do you have for maybe continuing to play baseball after college?
I'm for sure going to try to continue playing baseball after college. Definitely would like to get signed, but if that doesn't happen, I'll probably do what Joey did and kind of start opening doors to indie ball teams, even overseas teams. Like I've talked with Dubik about possible options for next year. I've talked to Zach, one of our GAs, call guy.
Yes.
I've talked to him about even playing in the Northwoods for half a season and just kind of opening those doors. I've even talked about with my summer coach about going overseas, like anywhere overseas. Everywhere has baseball, so I will be playing baseball after for as long as I can, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll end up probably coming back to school and going to PT school.
Okay. You got it all planned out.
Yeah.
Lastly, can I get a SCO Dogs?
Go Dogs!